We've had a chance to fly the Micro Stik. Rob is the primary pilot, and we're back here to do the 5x5 review. Before we get started, I want to get your first impressions when you took it out and got it off the ground.
Sure. My first impression was the amount of power that it had. It's noticeable right from takeoff. It literally jumps up in the air. And second would be that it's extremely maneuverable. I've flown this type of airplane before in a micro size, and this one is just a total departure as far as what you'd expect with this.
Okay.
It's very maneuverable.
And it's a larger model too,
Yes.
comparable to the size of the main wing. It's built out of a lot more sturdy materials.
Yes.
So I think we talked about that offline before and thought, well, how maneuverable, how light's going to feel in the air. It's a larger plane.
This thing's incredible. It'll turn on a dime in the air. It will do probably loops within a 6-foot circle.
Wow.
We were you can see on film we were in a gymnasium and you can loop it. So
that's great.
Yeah, it was a lot of power.
Let's go ahead and jump right into the review then. Our first category, our first section is model characteristics. Our first category is build as advertised. Robbie gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, we didn't really have to do anything to the model out of the box other than put a small piece of tape on one side of the prop.
That's kind of an easy way to do the micros too, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you don't want to try doing the traditional way of sanding down, you know, taking some of the material off the heavy side. You'll end up ruining the prop.
It's tough to balance them too because they're so small and light. A lot of balancers won't respond to that super
Exactly.
lightweight prop.
So you've got to just kind of feel. These planes will you'll feel an out of balance prop immediately. Yeah, and we've isolated one side of the blade that felt a little bit heavier, and we saw a noticeable difference with the small piece of tape.
Out. Good. Finish, you gave it a 4 out of 5. Now this is a foamy, so we know our foamy finish rating's a little lower, but 4 out of 5 is pretty good.
And really, these micros in this configuration, there isn't a lot of finish to put on them, but this one was nicely done. One thing we did notice was this type of extremely lightweight, thin decal material that they're using to put the graphics on these planes lend themselves to bubbles. Temperature changes, putting them in your car when it's chilly or hot, whatever. And it's a real easy fix. Just take a very sharp X-Acto blade, like a number 11 blade, brand new, and just gently touch each bubble, and you'll see them deflate, and just rub them gently with your finger or thumb, and they lay right down.
Okay.
And they'll probably bubble again with the temperature change, but it's an easy fix. So.
Well, you have the thinner, lighter, and more prone to bubble, or a thicker graphic that
stands up
wants
and
to peel off a little easier too. So.
Yeah.
Ground handling, power is the next category. You give it a 5 out of 5 on power.
Definitely. This thing it has so much power. You're not going to be disappointed. You can get yourself out of any trouble or get yourself into plenty of trouble with it too, which is usually the case with when you've got a lot of power.
Right.
But yeah, it's got plenty of power, which lends it to being such an aerobatic plane. So it works out great.
The next category is ground handling. You gave it a 5 out of 5 as well.
Yeah, solid as a rock on the ground. Actually has a small little tail wheel on the back, and but this thing will turn. It'll drive like a car on the ground.
Just spins right around.
Oh yeah, very maneuverable.
Good. The last category in model characteristics is durability. You gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, the reason we gave it a 4.5 out of 5, which I think for durability scores kind of high on any plane when you can give it a 4.5 or a 5.
Yep.
When we got done filming, of course, we get a little more daring. We want to see. We don't want to take chances on film and crash the plane before we get a chance to review it.
Yeah.
So, afterwards, we were putting it through its paces, and there were a couple times that we did some pretty hard hits on the nose. Now, usually, that'll spell trouble on a micro. The nose is usually most sensitive. A lot of it has to do with the gearbox and the shaft. Things get punched back out of place. We didn't break a prop. We didn't punch the shaft back, the gear back, or anything. And there were a couple of times we hit it that I thought we should have.
Something should have shafted.
Yeah, something should have broke. Something should have shifted, and we had no problem at all with it. It was very strong. So yeah, it's a good durable plane, especially outside. You're not going to hurt it in the grass.
Yeah. Good. Next section is pilot experience. So we start getting into quantifying some of Rob's immediate impressions off the plane. The first category is flight as advertised. You get a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, so they advertise it as an intermediate to advanced piloting skills, and I think it's right on the money.
Good.
Very much so.
Yeah, it's when I flew it, I did fly a little bit. It definitely responded to control inputs.
Yes.
It definitely would do things quicker than what I think some 3-channel micros with a large main wing get you used to.
Yeah.
Which was nice for aerobatics.
Sure.
But it wakes you up real quick.
Oh,
like,
it does.
I've got a responsive plane in my hands. This isn't just some lumbering, breezy little
You give
plane.
it a little touch elevator and you're going up or down.
Yeah, I noticed the tail was very quick to move. Balance felt good, but it was just very responsive.
Very responsive. Yeah.
Flight time is the next category, 4.5 out of 5 on flight time.
Yeah, this comes with a 130 and 160 milliamp battery. We flew for most of the time on 130, and we were getting 10 minutes plus on that, flying it around on that battery. I was impressed. No noticeable decrease in power throughout the life of the battery. That was kind of interesting because when it died all at once.
Really?
And I didn't realize that you kind of get lost in time when you're flying and you're not feeling a power drop. So you tend to not really pay attention to how long you're flying it. And
that's nice. So you had a good performance, good performance in the model all the way to the
end. Yeah, that was impressive for a battery that size.
Field size, a small park gymnasium. You flew it in a gymnasium, a small gymnasium, actually that, a very small one, and a small parking lot, out in your side yard, your front yard, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. So you're going to feel it where we flew it in a gymnasium. You're going to feel that the walls seem to be coming in on you a little bit because this thing will move out. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it performs. It's probably more comfortable in a faster flying setting. You know, you're going to want to keep the wind over those wings, and not that it changes its responsiveness by any means, but this plane's fast and it handles speed very well too. So doing some of the more larger loops and stuff, you'll want to be outdoors for that.
Yeah, some planes are just more comfortable when they're on the move.
Sure.
When they're active and you're actually active flying and not just floating them or gliding them around.
Yeah.
I got the impression with the Micro Stik when I flew it that it likes to be flown.
Yes, it does.
Get it out there and move it a little bit.
It's not one of those you want to, especially indoors, that you want to chop at the ceiling and just lazily bring it around in a circle and bring it. You got to fly it in. Not that it'll drop out of the sky, but it's just not that type of plane.
Second to last is portability. Give it a 4 out of 5. Now I noticed loose cell foam, molded or pre-molded. Is it a full drop? It's a full drop.
You don't have to remove the landing gear. Just drop it in, put your blocks back in, and go. Good. You just be careful that it's in the saddle where it should be, because these control rods are small. They're
and a lot of small components on the multifunction.
Yeah, the antenna can get bent around and stuff. But yeah, just take your time, and it's very portable.
The very last category is skill level. We have it listed as an intermediate. Now we typically focus on the threshold skill level, and I think, again, based on my experience, based on your review, I agree completely with you on that. This is an intermediate micro.
It is.
It's a little bit hotter. It's a lot more aerobatic than I think some people picture or imagine when they see this type of stick plane.
Yeah.
Now, sticks in the scale balsa buildup are flat wing non-aerodynamic from an appearance standpoint, but they're meant for aerobats or aerobatic maneuvers. This has that feel.
It does. It really does. The stick is a perfect name for it. It really is. It's not the micro glider.
Right.
It's not the micro get comfortable and relax and run circuits in small circles. But it's this thing is I would not recommend it for someone just learning how to fly.
Yeah, just a
I think they get frustrated because people tend
so responsive.
Yeah, they tend to overreact, so it's just going to get them in more trouble. It's not forgiving enough for that. Intermediate's perfect. Anybody with some stick time is going to enjoy this and not be disappointed with how maneuverable it is.
Good.
It moves out good, it handles good, and it spins on itself. So.
Well, I enjoyed flying the Micro Stik for the time that I did. I think you enjoyed it as well. It was
it was a nice departure. It wasn't what I expected. It caught me off guard, which was kind of good. Yep. I mean, it was a good off guard.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had flown one with a similar configuration. I'm used to what it feels like, and this didn't feel anything like it, but on a good level.
Right.
It was just like the next step up.
A little more advanced.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our review of the Micro Stik. If you have any questions remain unanswered, you can click on the Ask To icon. It's located in the lower left corner of every screen on our website. It'll send us a message, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby.
And I'm Rob. Thanks for watching.